You can't handle a strong black woman. There was always some black men saying, y'all gotta up y'all game as men. Y'all gotta do more. You got the Minister Farrakhan types out there. You know, black man, you gotta get out here and work harder. You gotta get more jobs. You gotta do this shit. It's always us. It's always been a group or segment of black men that have been blaming only black men for everything while black women complain. It's always been that way. And those, ironically, those are the kinds of black men that you listen to. So y'all didn't listen to dudes like me. Y'all listened to the kinds of men that kept telling you it's your fault. Kept telling you to try harder and try harder and try harder to please these ungrateful ass women. To please a segment of women that you can't ever please. There is nothing you can do that's going to satisfy those women. Nothing. And brothers like me been telling y'all this. Y'all didn't want to hear it. Things just don't bother me the way things bother most people because of the world I come from. You have to be very, very resilient to be out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? So I come from a different world. And I have to admit that I was a bit insensitive to the fact that a lot of black men don't come from the world that I come from. You know what I'm saying? I know that, don't get me wrong, I know that. I still did not think that, generally speaking, something like a female breakup or a bad relationship could mess up a man that much. And now I come to understand that it can. So what can you do as a black man to not be messed up behind some of the stuff you experience with these women? And as I was getting prepared for this, right, I was going back and forth with all of the experts to see how they lay out, you know, to see which like key points I should hit on and which talking points I should hit on. The one thing that kept coming back to my mind is acceptance. For some reason, I could not let acceptance go. But I kept coming back to, but if you just say it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever will be, whatever it is, it is. If you just learn to accept the fact that life comes with turns and pitfalls and sinkholes and, you know, it comes with all of this stuff. If you just can accept that, you'll be just fine. I think the problem that a lot of brothers have is that y'all been sold in a false ideology of perfection. Y'all been sold that if you keep your nose clean, that if you do A, B, and C, that D and E was all but guaranteed for you. And that's what also upsets a lot of y'all at the end, because you've been sold this idea of perfection that doesn't exist. So finally, I asked the artificial intelligence, okay, I keep coming back to acceptance. How would I lay out an argument to show the brothers that the real problem is that they can't accept reality? And I know y'all can't, because I've been on this channel for 2 years suffering. My channel has struggled because y'all just don't like it when I talk about acceptance. Every time I tell you that it doesn't matter what you try to do, a woman is only going to be with the man that she chooses to be with, that so you can just drop everything else, don't try nothing else, y'all get mad at me. Y'all don't like that. Every time I've done a video telling you that you don't own a woman, that women are not your property, that you have no control over other human beings, y'all don't like that. Y'all don't like that. Y'all want to believe, no, if I do A, B, and C, D and E is guaranteed. Women have no agency in none of this. If I do this, if I keep my nose clean and don't be a thug, if I go to college, if I get a career or a decent job, then the good women, the attractive women, because you don't really know about the good of the woman, right? The attractive women are going to be available to me for me to pick through. This is what you believed. And it was like, again, it was a lie when they sold it to you. So if you could learn how to just accept what Brother Kush be telling you, you'll be okay. The problem is y'all don't want to hear it from a strong man. Y'all want to listen to the kinds of men that are almost 50 years old or 50 years old that have never been married and have no children. These are the men y'all listen to. Y'all listen to all of these half incel dudes online talking all this crazy stuff. I get it. And one of the things the brother in my comment section was talking about was accountability. He was stuck on this, and this is something else, the brother who write the long rants. You know, you get this all the time about the accountability, the lack of accountability by black women. And I explained to the brother, man, but accountability is a self-reflective thing. It's got nothing to do with nobody else. You can't force nobody to admit that they have wronged you or that they are wrong about something. You can't get nobody to admit that. This is why it's not a requisite in a lawsuit. You know, if you sue somebody, they can say that they didn't do it all the way through the process up until they lose the case, right? You could get awarded $1 million and they still can say they didn't do it, but they got to now pay you that money. Because it doesn't matter whether they admit it or not. If they go through the process of discovery and investigation and it's found that they did exactly what you accused them of doing, then they are liable whether they admit it or not. The problem is y'all want these women to admit something that they are not going to admit. They're never going to admit it. Accountability is not what you're looking for, and it's not something you should focus on, because that's something that's between them and God. You know what I'm saying? That got nothing to do with you. All you need to figure out is who wronged you and how they wronged you. You don't even need to know why they did it. All you need to know is what they did and how they accomplished it, so that you could protect yourself moving forward, so that you don't put yourself in this situation again moving forward. That's the only thing assigning blame does. That's what you want to get to. But them admitting it is not a requisite. They don't ever have to admit it, people. And as long as you brothers sitting around talking about accountability, you're putting yourself on a hamster wheel that goes nowhere. They don't have to admit anything to anyone. You have to just understand what they did, you know what I'm saying, and how they went about doing it, so that you can protect yourself moving forward. And that's all I've been trying to teach y'all. When I say move like a boxer, protect yourself at all times, that's what I'm talking about. You know, understanding that there are people that will like vampires. They would latch on to you and suck the soul out of you if you let them. So you got to learn how to spot these types. You got to learn their characteristics, their talking points, their warning signs, so that you can move in a way that protects you from them. And that's all you can do. They don't ever have to admit that they are what you think they are. You could accuse them of being a vampire from here to the end of time, and they could tell you, I'm not a vampire, I'm not a vampire. You don't even have to prove it. If the warning signs that you look for, if all of the evidence that you need, the preliminary evidence that you need is there, then that's enough for you to act upon it. You protect yourself from that. You don't even take the chance. And that's how I live.